Some of you suck at pro clubs. Have that. I'm here to try and help you guys improve, so let's get straight into this with a quick word from OneFootball, our sponsor. Download their app, link at the top of the description. I wouldn't promote it to you guys if I didn't use it myself. It's the best place to follow the beautiful game and it's totally free. So why not give it a try? Download it. So of course we are the biggest pro clubs channel in the world. We know a little bit about the game and we're going to get straight into this. There's stuff we need to talk about, from dispelling some early rumours to player builds and tips, the best traits that you need to be using, and how to improve. Some easy tips. This is going to be all in this video. Let's start off by dispelling the rumours. Now there's three big things that terrible players tend to talk about: average match rating, leaderboards, and your overall pros rating. Now these three things really do not determine whether you're a good player, and I'm going to tell you why. Starting off with the average match rating, it doesn't really make any sense because the game's so buggy. You could play in cam and get a terrible rating, or better still, centre back. You could keep a clean sheet in centre back. You could make 3 goal line clearances, 100 interceptions, 20 tackles. You're going to struggle to get a 10 out of 10 because the game's programmed like shit. I mean, we all know that. Whereas if you play in striker and you lose the ball 20 times, which I frequently do, and you get 3 goals, it's an automatic 10. A hat-trick is a 10. Therefore, with a positional bias affecting an average match rating, and that's just a little bit of detail, I could go further into it if I felt it was necessary, you really can't be looking at average match ratings and taking it too serious. That's stuff that you should have been doing on FIFA 13. That's how old school that is. There's better ways to tell if someone's a good player. We're going to get into them. Before we do that, there's 2 other rumours I want to dispel for you new players listening. The fact that the leaderboards play any role in whether a player is good or not is one of them. The leaderboards do not accurately depict whether somebody's good at pro clubs because they're based, again, on an overall played instead of an ability. The amount of games you play determine if you're going to be at the top of the leaderboards or the bottom. So somebody could play 20 games but be really, really good. And just because some awful players played 1,000 games, they're going to be ranked number 50 striker in the world. It doesn't necessarily mean that. Also, a lot of people in those leaderboards, I'm so sure some people are getting butthurt at this right now. A lot of people in the leaderboards have played so many games, they've scored a lot of goals, all in Division 10, so they've padded their stats. Their stats looking like 1,000 appearances, 7,000 goals, and you think, wow, it's amazing. They get to Division 8, they delete the club, they start again, they play in Division 10. There's really not a lot of skill in it. And I'd also go as far as saying I know for a fact that some accounts at the top of those leaderboards are shared accounts and they genuinely just take turns logging on to try and keep at the top of the leaderboards. For those of you that do that, please hit me up on Twitter and tell me why. There's better things to do in the world. The last of the 3 rumours that I want to dispel before I get into talking about player builds is rating. Rating, again, doesn't mean you're a good player. That only means you've played more. Okay, so somebody could play 500 games and somebody could play 50. The guy with 500 is going to be level 90. The guy with 50 is going to be level 85. And everyone who thinks that the 90 is automatically better, just grab your head, smash it into the desk and have a little rethink of how that all works. Right, let's get into the important stuff now, player builds. This channel has got a lot of them. Of course, I've just released my updated striker build. I've played a lot of pro clubs on this FIFA, and of course, all the way back, you guys know by now how much FIFA we've played pro clubs only. We know what the best builds are, and I've brought you striker and cam builds. I'm going to try and bring you more updated builds. Now, a few patches have come out, things have changed, but what's important is to check out other players' builds on YouTube. There's other YouTubers as well putting builds out with recommendations. Give everything a try, see what works for you. At the moment, striker-wise, you can click the video in the top right-hand corner. I'm rocking a 5'6" build and absolutely loving it. In the past, there's been different sort of metas that have been good. You've got like 6'2" striker. Last FIFA used to be quite good, especially on the early release. I remember being really into playing 6'6". Nowadays, heading is so bad, and the game seems to really revolve around agility, balance, ball control, and a little bit of turn of pace, that I like to play 5'6". Never played that small on a FIFA before. It's just what I feel like works for me when I'm playing in striker now. So I wouldn't really recommend being a tall striker. There's nothing you really gain because you can play as a target man. I'm sure if you've played more than 3 games of pro clubs, you've seen how bad the heading is on FIFA 20. It's absolutely terrible. So there's no point playing up there and thinking you're going to knock it down to people, because you're going to try and head it down to your teammate and it's going to fly out for a throw-in every single time. As I said, stick around here on the channel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single video, because we're going to be bringing you more player builds. We've got centre-back one on the way this week for the best builds on pro clubs. You're in the right place. You're listening to the right guy. or so I'm telling myself. Now, traits-wise, obviously goalkeeper stands alone, and it's a different sort of thing. Goalkeepers are screwed when it comes to traits. You've got like 6, and then you're done. The actual traits this FIFA are a bit weird. They've added more skill trees and traits basically to the game, increasing it to 130 different trait options, but they've kept the skill points the same at 110. I mean, normally, if you were thinking properly, like if you had a brain, you would probably think to increase the amount of trait points if you're going to add in new traits. They haven't done that, so you have to miss out on things. In my striker build, I haven't got a single passing trait, and it's really annoying, but I just can't afford to do it, and there's reasons for that. The weak foot, if you're playing in striker, you need it, so I have to put loads of points into volleys to get to a 4-star weak foot, and it means I have to sacrifice the passing. One trait that if you are playing in any position, whether it's divisions, 11-man pro clubs, centre-back, CDM, right-wing, left-wing striker, whatever you're doing, you should have second win trait on. It kicks in regardless of win, loss or draw now, so at 75 minutes you get like a 20% boost to your stamina, and it's a massive, massive deal. I would honestly not play this game without it. If I was trying to improve on the game and wondering why I was getting so tired, you might want to look into getting the second win trait as soon as possible. It makes a big difference. Apart from that, the traits are pretty subjective. Of course, if you're struggling with passing, you can add into some passing. The passing is a bit poor at first, but as you level your pro, it does improve. Now we're going to move on to our last big point, and this is where you should really be listening. If you're still watching and you're enjoying this now, guys, and you like the channel, please drop a like down below. It makes a big difference to me. In making this video, I've asked other good players to give me their tips, and these are obviously what we've come together and thought of for you newer players and how to improve. So a couple of things you need to know about FIFA 20. Heading is awful. The touch is awful. And the passing is awful. So we got 3 things that we need to mitigate. How are we going to do them? Heading wise, as I said, I play a small build and I would just sack it off. Just try to not head the ball. Stop crossing. There's no point. It's awful in this game. Fixing the bad touches. Okay, obviously you can put your skill points into ball control, and I really recommend doing so, but there's other ways to do it. I play with a lot of players who are new sometimes, and I see them sprinting into the ball. You guys need to make sure that you take your finger off of the sprint button when you're about to receive possession. If you sprint onto a pass, usually the touch is going to be awful unless you're high enough level or you're in on goal to let it run a little bit further. If you're playing especially in a midfield or a defensive role and the ball's coming towards you, you do not want to be sprinting. So just take your finger straight off of that sprint button as soon as you're about to receive possession. It will make a big difference to your game, and I know it sounds simple, but just get on tonight after watching this video and try to sprint a little bit less. Also, just sprinting in general, if you are especially in those midfield positions or defense, if you're up front, you want to be sprinting through, I get that, but sprinting is the most overused newbie sort of feature that I see people do. All they do is sprint, right? They think, I'm playing FIFA, all I got to do is sprint around with the ball like a madman. Just slow the game down. Try not to sprint when you pick up the ball. If you're in centre midfield or cam especially, just try a little bit of dribbling. Slow dribbling, hold L1, the new button, obviously, that gives you that option to do the special dribbling, and see what options are available to you. Working off of that, if you're a new player struggling, keep in possession. Now, at the end of the game or half time, you can often check your stats, and a lot of new players don't do it. Have a little look in the performance tab at how you've played and see if there's any irregularities that you want to correct, right? So what I used to do when I was trying to get better and I'd speak to better players, click the pause menu at half time or whatever, go into performance or at the end of the game, see how many times I've lost the ball. If I'm playing in striker and I've lost the ball 12 times in a game, that's too many for me. Different circumstances all the time. You might score a hat-trick and lose it 12 times, so maybe it doesn't really matter that you lost it, and I get that, but try to bring those numbers down. Simply trying to get better at the game doesn't really work. You need to look at certain aspects of the game. Your passing, your positioning. Am I losing the ball too much? Am I shooting off target too much? And improve those little things in order to make your whole experience better. It's like anything in life, guys. You can't really just say, I'm going to play more and improve. Don't just carry on doing the same things. Mix it up. Try to keep possession if you're losing it too much. If you're seeing your pass accuracy is below 80% most games, well, you need to improve your passing. So slow down, have a look, play the safer ball sometimes. Don't always look for the through ball, rushing it. These sort of things will make a big difference when you're trying to improve on a game mode like Pro Clubs. And Pro Clubs is quite difficult to improve in. You can improve yourself as a player, but if you're playing with dog shit, all your teammates are awful, then it's going to be difficult to really see an improvement. So try to play with better players. That doesn't mean sacking off your mates every time you want to play. Just occasionally see if there's better players to play with. And a lot of you will be sat there like, great, that's great advice. This YouTuber's telling me to play with better players. What an amazing bit of advice. I don't know any. And I get that. can be difficult. So I've got something for you guys. The comment section of this video, you guys can comment down below, and you can obviously get in contact with each other and see if you want to play. But that's not it. That's not the only place I'm going to say. Obviously, you can look on websites, VPG and VFL. Now, what am I talking about? Some of you will know, some of you won't. These are two 11-man sites in the UK that pretty much dominate the scene. VPG has a sort of monopoly on the midweek success, so you play Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays in scheduled 11 versus 11 pro clubs. VFL is the weekend, so VFL basically separate website, and it runs basically the games are on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays. Simple concept. All teams have 11 players. You enter into a tournament. The website records the results. The winner gets £1 million. Okay, let's just pretend they do. But these websites have forums. Now, VPG's link and VFL's link are in the description. VPG is more Facebook heavy. There's big Facebook chats. You can obviously sign up to VPG and VFL for total free, and you can find on the VPG's Facebook page lots of different chats of players, and you can try and get yourself involved in a team and just try and meet some players that are better. VFL has a website with more of a forum. You can go through onto the forums. You can find people looking to play pro clubs, looking to improve. So for you new players listening, you've got the comment section of this video to have a browse through. Drop your PSN, drop your Xbox gamer tag down there. Say what you want, see if someone replies to you in a few days. You've got the VFL and the VPG websites, both linked in the description down below, so there's no excuse to get involved and see if you can find some better players. If that's slow, if you can't find people to play with and you're still frustrated, tune in to live streams, guys. My live stream is every Monday, Tuesday and Thursday. We play in the highest league in the UK for pro clubs, and it's tough. It's 11 versus 11 pro clubs. You see us lose a lot, you see us win a lot, and you see every second of the action. I'm not the only streamer you can watch. There's people like Sam Tap Tap, 4 PM, Division 1, every single Monday to, I think, Saturday, over on Twitch. His link's down below as well. You can watch his gameplay and see what they do to improve as an 11-man team. Just try to watch and play with better players than you. If you're playing in a divisions game and you get spanked 7-0 and you're sitting there like, oh, the game's shit, fucking game. I mean, the game is pretty awful, we know that. But there's definitely things that you can do to improve, and there's definitely things that you guys did wrong to lose 7-0. From just having a look through the performance tab and trying to break down where you might have gone wrong or your teammates have gone wrong at the end of the game like we spoke about, to just clicking the share button on PlayStation and recording it, go back and watch the game, see how they scored the goals, see how they made the openings. It's nerdy as hell, but if you're watching this video and you're still listening at this point, I'm assuming you want to improve, and that will definitely help you improve. Final bit of advice that I've got for you guys, just be honest with yourself. Just try to admit that you're not the best player. Try to see where you can improve, and don't be stuck in this rut of thinking like, oh, the game's rubbish, so I'll just turn it off if you lose, or you can't improve. Try to find better players, like I said, but be honest with yourself and see where you can improve, and it's something that's helped me a lot. I'm by no means the best player in the world, but I'm definitely good enough to be dishing out this advice to new players. Hopefully it helps you guys out. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We are very close to 90,000 subscribers, and it would be amazing to get there. So please do help me out. Go out there and practice what I spoke about, and hopefully this video has helped you. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow when we be back with our coveted Pro Club series. See you later.